with Margaret O'Brien here at the memorabilia MGM Music for Millions. That was a great movie with Jose Terrera, Jimmy Durante, and June Ellison. We're going to go and talk to her now, okay? Miss Margaret O'Brien. Lectures show this afternoon, and I'm sitting with two great ladies from the MGM studios. The great, and I use the word ladies, and look at this. She is just absolutely beautiful. Look at who I'm sitting with. This lovely lady. And Margaret.
Margaret and I go back such a way.
Margaret O'Brien is just incredible. Look at that. How are you? And who I'm talking to, this lady is just incredible. Marsha Hunt. How are you?
And we both worked together.
I know.
And we did twice.
Yes, twice.
First when you were 6, and then probably all of 7.
And Marsha doesn't look any different today than when we worked together.
Of course not.
Look at this lady and look at this beautiful book that she has put out.
You have to come very close to these. I am showing Margaret some dance steps.
And what film was this?
This one was, I believe, 10th Avenue Angel. No, Lost Angel.
Lost Angel.
This was from Lost Angel.
You were what?
Yes.
How old were you there, Margaret?
About 6.
6 years
Yes.
old. You remember those days?
Oh, I remember.
Really?
Yes, very much. And I was so thrilled because Marsha presented me with this beautiful, beautiful book.
Which is
and
Marsha
you see,
Hunt's
she looks the same as she does
exactly
on this
the
same beautiful figure.
It's called The Way We Wore. These are the collectors from MGM Studios.
Not only, my first few years were at Paramount, and the first half of the book is mostly Paramount fashions. They're the things I wore in films, and Edith Head and Travis Banton and Ori Kelly and Irene. The only things I did that Adrian designed were hoop skirts from Pride and Prejudice, and they're not in here because this book is about contemporary clothes, what were contemporary in the 30s and 40s.
But you always dressed very ladylike, Marsha. They always made you dress very ladylike.
Well, not always. I played one Brooklyn showgirl.
What was that one?
Oh, that was with Robert Young and Lorraine Day, and it was called The Trial of Mary Dugan, and I was a showgirl with a Brooklyn accent. I had a wonderful time playing that one.
But Marsha's still so lovely and such a fashion plate today, too. So she was always a fashion
Margaret O'Brien,
plate.
MGM was growing up. All these great stars like Judy Garland. Look at this. Look at me and Judy. You and Judy Garland.
I've got to see that
Look
picture.
at that. Look at that. Isn't that brilliant? Everybody loved Margaret O'Brien.
You know, I think
Thank
that
you.
Meet Me in St. Louis is the finest film ever made that was a story with music. It was not a musical. No dancing girls, but it was a story
It is
with
a
music.
story with music and wonderful music that came out and was written from that
Martin
film.
and Blaine, we had the trolley song, The Boy Next Door, and this perennial Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
That's right.
And they have
It's
remained
gone
dear
on and
friends
remained,
half a century.
Also classic songs, too, from
Yes,
that
and I
movie.
love the dance sequence with you and Judy Garland dancing. That wonderful scene. That was a wonderful.
Yes, well, that was fun. I always loved to dance because my mother was a dancer, of course.
That's right.
So, and my aunt was a dancer. She was the Spanish dancer with Cugarts Orchestra, and my mother was the flamenco dancer with the Cancinos, because my mother was Spanish, and they were very famous flamenco dancers.
I didn't know
So
that.
I got in pictures by accident.
But I can bring you up to date because I don't know, whatever year it was, I was in playing the original Mary Astor role of the mother in Meet Me in St. Louis when they brought it from the screen to the stage, and we were in Birmingham, Alabama,
I went to
where
see
Hugh Martin grew up, who wrote that score with Ralph Blaine, and Margaret and her husband came to the opening, and we had a great grand party at which you danced such a storm on the dance floor.
I did.
Everybody cleared the floor,
Oh, my
and
goodness.
I had never seen Margaret dance except in movies. You were gorgeous to behold.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I had a whole new impression of you. And then, you know, each of us was on a cruise ship commemorating the 50th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And you were on the Constitution, and I
That's
was on
right.
the Independence.
You were on the
And we did all the Hawaiian
Yes.
Islands and met on shore when the cruise was over. But it was started, Skip, with a commemorative program at Pearl Harbor. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember. It was
And
really
here-
impressive.
Oh, the president spoke,
Isn't
and
that
all kinds of generals.
You two ladies have such memories of Hollywood.
We're
of-
blessed with very
and
rich
wonderful
memories.
people that you have met in your travels
Oh, Lord,
because
yeah.
you're a celebrity.
And you meet, people who bring buy things like this gentleman that I met today that brought these pictures that were done of me to look like the old-fashioned pictures from George Cukor's, the great directors, my favorite directors,
Mine too.
collection. And this gentleman had these, and these were done for the movie to look like they were done in the 18th century. So
They're
I
charming.
hadn't seen them in a long time, so it was kind of a
I
thrill.
haven't seen them.
These are like old postcards. They were done like old postcards.
Yes.
Oh,
Isn't that
so-
lovely? Look at that. Sweet.
I asked him if he'd part with it, but he said he wouldn't. So
These are on loan.
no, it goes back to his house tonight.
Margaret, I wanted to ask you this all the time. Judy Garland. Oh, one of my favorites. One of the greatest
Everyone's.
Everyone's. One of the greatest entertainer ever. There will never be another entertainer. These kids today
She was
don't have a clue. But she had stardom. She had finesse. She had everything. Tell me, working with this lady.
She was wonderful to work with. She really was. And very, very nice. And that was a very happy time for Judy Garland because she was just married Vincent Minnelli, and she was very happy during that movie. And she really seemed like my big sister. And Judy was always lovely, even in later years. She would always stop and say hello if she saw you at a party or saw you somewhere. So I was very fond of her. She was a very nice person.
MGM schooling. Fun going to school at MGM?
Well, I mainly had a private tutor because I was working so much, but I'd go into the little red schoolhouse on the lot
Did you?
for recess. But of course, at the MGM school, everybody was all different ages. So, Elizabeth might be in the 11th grade, I might be in the 2nd grade, or, it wasn't that far apart, but...
Friends with Liz? Do you still call her?
Oh, I see her every once, and she was also a very nice person. And Janet Leigh, I just did a show with Janet.
Oh, did you?
And then, of course, June and I are on a lot of the cruise ships, too, doing some lectures.
Oh, Junie
And
loves to
Junie is
cruise.
lovely.
Yes.
When I never know when she's docked. I think that she's always at sea somewhere. And her husband is a great climber.
Yes.
He goes, if there's a mountain, he's going up it. And wherever, we did a cruise, Junie and Esther Williams and I, to the inland waterway to Alaska. And it was my first cruise. It was breathtakingly beautiful. And we had the best reunion, the three of us, from the MGM days. It was delightful.
Let me ask you a question, Marsha Hunt.